There exists a tool that is said to increase idea generation by 400%. This same tool will improve your focus on a task, making you 3.2 times less distracted. And it is also said to increase retention of your creative ideas by 13%. Where can you get your hands on this tool and how much does it cost? Around £3 or £4 from any supermarket or Amazon. Yes, that's right, the humble notepad and pen can improve your ability to come up with ideas and retain those ideas. Now, why as songwriters would you not want the ability to be more creative? And that's why in this video, I'm going to try and persuade you that you too should be using a real notepad and pen. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't about slagging off or advising against using digital tools for songwriting. We've never been so lucky as songwriters to live in a time where we can create templates in our DAWs that speed up composition, record straight into our phones. We can keep lyrics in Google Docs on our phones that appear straight on our desktops the next time we log in. We can collaborate digitally with other composers. The list goes on, and we should fully embrace digital tools into our songwriting arsenal. But don't disregard this humble notepad and pen, as I believe it more than has a place in the modern world of songwriting. According to a study carried out by the Université Rennes in France, brainwriting ideas directly onto paper was found to be 4 times more effective for idea generation than electronic brainwriting. This means physically writing down your ideas in one of these things can increase your creativity by up to 400%. I'm sold. I don't even need to know the reasons why, I'm all in. But let me tell you why I think this is the case. I think there's something about the physical act of writing pen on paper which causes neurons to fire in a different way to typing or texting notes. When you type, it can be deleted and edited as you go. It can be saved and returned to at a later date. There's also that blank page anxiety of staring at a blank screen and not knowing where to begin. But with a pen and paper, it's tangible. You can fold the paper, doodle with the pen. So something about this just begs for this to start interacting. You can cross out and scribble as you go, but ultimately what we commit to on paper with ink becomes permanent, so we're forced into producing better quality ideas. According to the article Reading in a Digital Age by Naomi S. Barron, published in the peer-reviewed journal Phi Delta Kappan, we are more than 3 times likely to avoid distractions when working in analog. When we pull out our phones to make a note, the first thing we see are the notifications. And if you're anything like me, I can't stand that little red circle with the number of notifications in it. I have to clear them. But now I'm on Instagram scrolling, or I'm clicking on that YouTube video, 10x your biceps in 10 minutes. And that's it, I'm in. Creativity departs as brain cells are mulched. And it's the same with desktop. Too many tabs open, too many tasks, but this bad boy feeds me nothing but the ideas I put into it. But the interesting thing, you take a notepad into a highly distracting place like a coffee shop, and you'll still find that you focus more on the task. Even if you can't help but watch other people, those interactions around you will feed into your idea generation on paper. You'll take inspiration from the distractions around you and somehow regenerate them into usable ideas. Now, this doesn't happen with digital interactions. Take a look at people glued to their phones in public places. They have zero awareness of what's going on around them, focused only on the thing that's distracting them. In fact, I encourage you to go to a coffee shop with only a notepad and pen. At first, you might feel a bit odd being the only person on their own or not looking at a screen, but after a few minutes, and without sounding like a snob or being overly pretentious, you'll start to feel like the only person in the room with some higher degree of consciousness or enlightenment. Honestly, it's empowering. A study by the University of North Dakota found that we are 13% more likely to retain information written on paper as opposed to digital screens. Have you ever written a song and some lyrics onto a Word document only to return to it a few days later having completely forgotten how it goes? I have, but in contrast, I can flick through old songwriting notebooks and find lyrics that I'd written years ago and done nothing with, and instantly remember the tune and the chords. Something about physically writing things down rather than typing makes your brain more likely to retain that information. Now in songwriting, I think this is because we're more likely to finish a song, melody, chords, structure and all, when we don't have the mechanism to easily come back to it just by hitting save. Yes, I also have little ideas, song titles, chord progressions in my notebook, but when I sit down to intentionally write a song, more often than not, I finish it in one sitting, or at least the main bones and first draft lyrics. I may come back to it to tune it up another day or work on that tricky bridge section, but I've penned the lyrics with pen in hand, guitar in lap. By the time I clock off, the tune is usually ingrained in my memory. Also, as a side point but along the same lines of retaining information, I love that I can flick through old songbooks and easily access memories and moments in time that would otherwise have been lost to the depths of a hard drive. There are ideas and even complete songs in these notepads that I may have chosen not to do anything with at the time of writing, but could now be developed with fresh eyes. Because I still remember what chords I used and how the tunes went. And with that, my friends, I will leave you to go analog. But before you switch off your screens and commit ideas to paper, I ask one last digital request of you. And that's to gently tap that like button, subscribe if you will, and I'll see you in the next video.